Well, it's Friday the 2nd of November. All Hallows Eve and a very rainy All Saints' Day have just passed. I hope you spoke with all attending spirits in your life. Today the sun moves into the second decan of Scorpio, making the exact midpoint of the season, the place between the equinox and the solstice. A perfect place for All Souls' Day. Take a moment to reflect on your ancestors and departed family. Every one of them danced and cried and sang and loved and laughed and lost, and we should thank them for their struggle. In the next week, Uranus will retrograde back into Aries to wind up some unfinished business. Whatever bullshit you were on from 2011 until May of this year, you're back on it, and you have until March to close the books. Unless you are planning to live until 2103, which I'm really not. This is episode 1828 of 301 Permanently Moved, a podcast 301 seconds in length, written, recorded, and edited in 1 hour by me at the JMO. Speaking of our ancestors, today, November 2nd, 1811, Luddite weavers and knitters destroyed machines in Nottingham which were a threat to their livelihoods. Luddite, a word still sharp with edges, spat even today at others demonstrating so-called technophobic leanings. But the idea that Luddites were opposed to all technology is a history written by the victors. The song General Ludd's Triumph opens with a declaration that Robin Hood was over in the public imagination. I'm a pirate, so I'll let Chumbawamba do their thing.
No more chant your old rhymes about bold Robin Hood. His feats I do little admire. I'll sing the achievements of General Ludd, now the hero of Nottinghamshire.
Now I'm sure you already know this, but Luddites opposed only technology hurtful to the commonality, i.e. to the common good, rather than the narrow interests of the few. In midnight raids they entered the workshop and destroyed some machines whilst left others alone.
The guilty may fear but no vengeance he aims at the honest man's life or estate. His wrath is entirely confined to white frames and to those that all prices abate. Those engines of mischief were sentenced to die by unanimous vote of the trade. And Ludd, who can all opposition defy, was the grand executioner made.
What are the wide frames of today? How do we bring being a skeptic about the dogma of technology as progress, whilst not denying the real benefits of other technologies to the 21st century? We are to insist that crucial decisions about which technologies are developed are made democratically, not just imposed by corporations and technocratic elites. And it means standing up for our own ideas of what progress really is. Are there even wide frames? In his essay, Design Conflict Territories, back in 2014, Tobias Revel wrote, quote, Google very gradually built a future around us. The point stands that the entities constructing and steering our futures, or what they often like to call the future, with all the baggage and powerlessness and inevitability that wording brings, and they work on a completely different geopolitical strata. There is no town square for Google. Clive Thompson, writing on the Luddites in 2017 for Quartz, wrote, quote, The lesson that you get from the Luddites is, do the people who are profiting off automation today want to participate in distributing their profits more widely around the population, or are they going to fight just as hard as they did back then? Indeed, co-founder of the new climate action movement, Extinction Rebellion, just today said, quote, 100 years of political sociology shows you that you can only change entrenched power through creating economic costs for the people that hold that entrenched power. I was extremely excited by the Google walkout yesterday. They stepped out and back into the town square. They've also successfully made their employer roll back and not bid for the Pentagon's $10 billion cloud computing contract. The demands are strong, especially point 5, appoint an employee representative to the board. And indeed, a future Labour government will introduce laws requiring businesses to reserve 1/3 of all board seats for workforce representatives. But for the rest of us, what is there to smash? What parts of the stack, the technological and social entity that leans through time and touches us today, needs a visit at midnight? Because most midnights, right now, including me, most of us are sleeping with devices of black glass that host entities that are harmful to the commonality. And the same people that have stepped out into the town square are also the people building them. Perhaps our phones are wide frames that we carry with us.